Did they make
No,
contact?
no. It's pretty close, but this is going to be a drag race.
Look at this.
Moves him to win it. Carl Edwards bump and dump and run.
Here comes Gordon right up to the bumper again.
You hear that wheel spin, Ben?
Yeah, I did hear that wheel spin.
The bump and run.
There it is.
Gordon underneath to the lead. 2 laps to go.
Maine to really turn around, made a Riley's cage up.
How do I do this? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the Bump and Run podcast.
Welcome to the Bump and Run podcast. I'm your host, Michael D.Y. Joe. I'm my two best friends, Matt the Statman Reilly and Eric Daytona Ron. I know you guys had a great weekend because I was with you. I hope everyone listening had a great weekend. Hope you all had an Alex Bowman or Kyle Busch type weekend because they were the big winners for the Cup Series doubleheader down at Pocono. And we were down there live. We're going to break it all down for you. But first, like, share, subscribe. Podcast available on all platforms every Monday, except for this episode. We're recording Tuesday night because we were all shot yesterday from a long weekend in the Pocono Mountains. Listen to us on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and more. Every Tuesday morning video available. That's getting pushed to Wednesday. And we got to give a shout out to all the cool people we were hanging out with. We had a huge camp down there. I met some great people, some people you guys already knew before, but got to give a shout out to our man Dirt, our man Duber. We got Adam, their dads came. We had Matthew America and his whole crew next to us, although they didn't really interact as much as I would hope. But every time I was over at my camp, Matthew America would just scream, "Whitey!" and scream America back at him. Just a huge family feeling down at Pocono. Had an absolute blast. Oh, and we got to give a shout out to friend of the show, Justin Pierce, because he got to see his man, Bowman the Showman, bring it home on Saturday afternoon in Pocono. What'd you guys think? How did we survive the weekend? I don't know. How you guys feeling today on Tuesday?
I'm getting there, but I'm not 100%. That was, and I'll just speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure, Eric, you're going to mirror my feelings here. For me personally, I've spent a lot of years in the infield of Pocono. By far, that was the best year I've ever had. That was so much fun.
Hands down. I mean, like you said, Matt, we've been there before. And this topped it. Like, it wasn't even close. I think everybody that was there, including my cousin Shredder, we go every year together. And like at the end of the weekend, we both looked at each other and was like, hands down, this was the greatest Pocono weekend that we've ever had. And I couldn't have been happier with the performance on track and everything that Pocono Raceway put on in general.
Our performance, we had
a top-notch performance down there.
Yeah, we really did. All of us did.
Me and Eric, we started drinking Thursday morning, I think at 11 o'clock. And Matt, you joined us Friday after work, and all of our buddies were pretty much up there from Thursday until Sunday. And,
I got up there literally about a half an hour before the ARCA race started, and you guys were already in the grandstands, and you were telling me you're not sure if the tunnel closes or not, so hurry up if you want to come over.
Yeah.
So I didn't even get to unpack, take a look at the campsite, or do anything. I just grabbed a bunch of beers, threw them in my drawstring bag, and literally sprinted over so I could make it in time, and then the rest is history. Even the ARCA race was a great race.
ARCA race was an awesome time, although I barely remember it because I was hammered.
That's all right.
I found myself near the end of the ARCA race alone, next to a chicken finger stand, with chicken fingers and French fries, and and a soft pretzel, and I'm leaning up against the table. I'm the only person on the concourse there. Like, there is not another soul besides the people working, and it must have been a sight to see. I'm sure someone working those concession stands was taking pictures and making fun of me on Snapchat or something to one of their friends. But all around, great time from Friday night ARCA all the way till Sunday afternoon with the second Cup race. Like, a great weekend.
It had everything. I mean, everything from an $80 liquor drink to a fantastic 80s rock band, cover band. to everything in between. It was a lot of fun.
It was. So Saturday night, M80. I think M80 is a local band. I've seen them about a million times throughout the years.
They play the Woodlands all the time.
Yeah, they play a lot of, it's all 80s covers, and they do a great job. But while we were down there Saturday night for the infield block party, which got absolutely insane when they were playing, our buddy Shredder, Daytona Ron's cousin, bought it was like a plastic boot filled with like a slushy drink, right?
Like
was
a
that what it
frozen
was?
alcoholic drink. Yeah.
And I guess you paid by the shot. I don't know how much a shot costs, but he asked for 16 shots in a thing about the size of this. It wasn't
Joking
a large
around.
drink.
I think it was a joke.
I think it's very serious.
He wanted those 16 shots in that drink for sure. But when the lady came out and said, "Okay, that'll be $80," his jaw almost fell to the floor, and he said, "Well, at this point in time, I'm in too deep.
Drink's already made." You know,
that boot, that 16 shot $80 boot single-handedly wiped out our camp.
Oh yeah. We were passing that boot around, and like everyone was. At one point, Jay goes, "I took 2 sips. I think I owe Shrey $20."
So I just did the math real quick. That's $5 a shot, which is pretty reasonable. That's not a bad price per shot. Thankfully, I think I missed it by that point. I still maintain that I was just playing air guitar with my eyes closed, but apparently you guys thought I fell asleep during M80's performance.
I thought you were like a giraffe.
I was just into the music. No way was I sleeping standing up.
I thought you were like a giraffe. You just locked your knees in place and fell asleep.
Yeah, I was good. But like I left earlier than you guys. I think you guys all left at like midnight or so. I looked at my watch. It was like a minute to 11, and they were playing the theme song to what's that movie? The Breakfast Club. It was like, "Don't you forget about me." And I look at the time, I'm like, oh, it's a minute to 11. This must be their last song, because usually bands are done by 11 when it's outdoors. Nope, not at Pocono. They went on for like another hour, and I passed out by the fire. So I had a good time too on Saturday. Thankfully, I missed that boot. I think it would have been a worse time.
I just thought of something. And I'll get to it on my wreckers. I just thought of something just now.
Okay.
And it's going to be my wreckers for the weekend.
But yeah, absolute blast down there. Thursday, I thought this was really cool. I didn't realize that you could go and walk the track or ride your bicycle around the track. And we rode bikes around Pocono. I tapped out near turn 2, though. I couldn't make it. I cut through the grass and went through the infield. But that turn 1, you don't realize the steepness of the banking. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like I came in there hot. I was on a mountain bike. I was in 3rd gear and 7th gear, fucking ripping, and it sucked you right down into the turn.
Shout out. I know he doesn't listen to this, but shout out Luke Birdie, who did 3 laps on his dang rollerblades.
Absolutely insane.
He rollerbladed around there 3 times. That's 7.5 miles on his rollerblade.
He made it further than Quinn Houff.
He did, and he made it further than Cole Custer on Saturday, and not only that, he rode his bike around there a couple times. Even got interviewed by the local news, WBRE. So
somebody in your crew gets interviewed by the news. That is always the best. You know you're doing it right. You're always, when you make the news. Oh, well, that's the best.
And you want to know what? It's like one of those tropes, though. But like every time you watch the news, it's like, where do they find these people that they interview? Because it's like, oh, there's some rough people out there. I sent the screenshot to my girlfriend. She goes, "Why is Luke dressed like Rob Halford from Judas Priest?" It was he was definitely an interesting news interview, but yeah, just a great weekend overall. We'll talk about the racing in a bit, but anything else stand out just from our camping experience in the infield that you guys can remember?
There's great food, lots of booze, good people, like you said, it's a family atmosphere. But that's the NASCAR world, man. That it's a family atmosphere, and there's nothing like it in the world. And I love doing it.
I got to shout out Mother Nature for holding off and giving us such a beautiful race weekend. You know, I had previously bought a camper because I was tired of the rain.
Yeah.
At Pocono, and I'm like, I'm tired of getting wet tent and like having to, put tarps. And I'm like, I'm buying a camper. And of course, I bring it to Pocono, and we had beautiful weather. So, my luck, it'll never rain again at Pocono since I bought the camper,
Hey, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Not only the rain, but we got super lucky because for anyone who's not listening in northeastern Pennsylvania, it's now Tuesday. We're in the middle of a heat wave right now. It is 95 degrees outside. If it was this hot all weekend long, I don't know if I would have made it.
Yeah. No, there's a heat wave on the whole East Coast here. Like I think as far as the Mississippi too, where it's hot right now.
Even up in like Washington, Oregon, like they're experiencing some of the hottest weather they've ever had. So like it's across the country, but we missed it by a day. Like we got so lucky with temperature, with precipitation or lack of precipitation, and just an all around just perfect racing weekend.
Plus, we were in the mountains too. It's a little bit cooler up there. I think the hottest it hit about 80, and it wasn't bad at all. And the rain, there was a couple scares where you'd feel like a drop or two, and you go, "Is that rain? Is that rain?" You look at the clouds and they were black. But thankfully, the vortex theory was going around the tricky triangle and pushed those rain clouds away. The only thing now, though, you guys say that was the best Pocono weekend you could have had. How are we going to top it next year? Because this was the first infield experience I had. Can it only go down from here? I hope not for myself, selfishly.
It can only go up. It can only go up.
But baby.
We build on it.
I was just so happy. We had about 10 campsites all together, and we rearranged it to where like we were in our own little compound. It couldn't have been better.
Next year we're bringing pigs so they can eat the garbage. We don't even have to clean up.
That is a great idea. Let's
a green racetrack. They got the goats that
eat the grass. Although old Daytona Ron had to bust out the weed whacker when we got there because that grass was getting high. I think they need more goats down there. Eat a little bit more of that grass.
You know what else I'll say, and then we can get into the news and carry on with the podcast. But no bugs, no bugs, no mosquitoes. Like I had no problems with the bugs.
I was surprised. Zero bugs.
Did you guys spray yourself with bug spray? Because I put it on once in the morning.
I didn't have to. I brought industrial bug spray for like the ground. I was going to hit the campsite up around where we were sleeping, and I didn't have to.
I wonder if sunscreen keeps the bugs away because I'll tell you what,
up on it.
We were loaded up on the sunscreen, man, because it was
except for Duber. Duber was red.
Duber was a trooper. He was a trooper.
He looked like Lobster Larry from SpongeBob, and his real name was Larry too. So it was very fitting. I felt bad for him though. He's got to be hurting this week.
Yeah, but you know what? He got to meet Jadeveon Clowney, so he's fine.
He did. They ran into a famous football player. Michael Jordan was there. How about? So I went to meet an old radio buddy of mine, and we were over by the the fan zone center and stuff. And some kid was walking by, and he's like, "Oh, I heard Jordan's here." I'm like, "Yeah, I think he flew into Avoca, which is up near us, about 40 minutes away from the track. I think he took a helicopter and he's like, "Yeah, I want to meet him, so I could tell him that Scottie Pippen's the only reason why he has any rings." And you want to what? The kid ain't wrong. I mean, Scottie Pippen was the unsung hero of the Chicago Bulls in the 90s.
Oh my God!
I think
that's up there. That's up there with the Ricky Stenhouse. I took the under.
But yeah, that was a great chirp. But you want to jump into the news? Let's get this podcast rolling.
Do it.
So last week in the news, I know we touched on Gordon leaving the Fox booth. I don't know if it was official last week when we covered it, but Jeff Gordon officially announces he will be leaving the Fox booth. He'll continue his role until December 31st, 2021. And then after that, he's going to be the chairman or co-chairman of Hendrick Motorsports. So that should be interesting how he affects the organization, which is top tier right now. Probably the best they've been in a lot of years. No word on who's going to replace him in the booth. I hope it's Larry McReynolds. Some people want to see Kevin Harvick do it. I don't think Harvick's going to retire this year. I think he's got a couple more years in him. Is there any names that come to mind that you guys would want to see in the Fox booth going forward?
I would love to see Larry Mack. I think his traveling days are over. I think he likes staying in the Charlotte hub there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a few guys that are really good at it. I wouldn't mind. Somebody mentioned it this weekend, and I don't remember who. But after thinking about it, like, a very polarizing guy, but I honestly wouldn't mind seeing him up there with Boyer. Mikey, man. Michael Waltrip up there.
Oh, yeah. See, you want to know, a lot of people don't like Michael Waltrip, though. They think he's too silly.
I know. I do.
I like him. I like Michael Waltrip.
In the booth, I don't know, something about him just like to your point, Whitey, he tries too hard to be silly sometimes. Yeah. And like, if he could just like be himself, but I think that would help.
I think he is himself when he does the truck races. See that?
Yeah, when he does the truck races, I think he's exceptional at what he does. Like he knows what he's talking about too. Like I personally think that he's underrated as far as like being a broadcaster. I'm not talking about like the grid walk, what he does before the cup races on Sundays. Like I'm talking about when he's in the booth for the truck races. I personally think he does an exceptional job just knowing what's about to shake out in the race.
I think they'll go and take someone from like a race hub or like someone that's already like has a little bit of the broadcasting experience in them, like a Jamie McMurray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Jamie McMurray would be good.
Because he has a good voice. He knows how to break it down. Like when he explains things, like to me, like I could see Jamie McMurray and Clint Boyer being a good duo together there. Like I think they might go with someone that has a little bit of experience over someone that like you said, Kevin Harvick. I know he's done some Xfinity
stuff. Yeah,
they're trying. I think that's their way of trying to get these drivers prepped for like when they retire.
Oh yeah,
come in, learn how to do this broadcasting a little bit to see which one of you we could pick for when we need someone.
Jamie McMurray too, sneaky funny.
Yeah, he's got some good one-liners and stuff.
Yeah, so I can see maybe like a guy like Jamie Mack going in there to fill in.
That's a good point. I wish, you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna say Joey Logano's not a terrible broadcaster either. Maybe he retires early at 30 and moves into the booth.
Let me know how the rest of this podcast goes.
I mean, it'd be better. He'd be better in the booth than he is on track.
Hey, I'd rather see him in the booth than on the track, to be honest with you. So I'll give that a thumbs up. Get him out of the car and in the booth.
All right.
I don't even know who I'm talking to anymore.
So this was announced on, you know what? Kurt Busch would be great in the booth too. Him and Kyle were really good last year doing Xfinity Series races together. Anyways, next piece of news came out Thursday morning. NASCAR won the Sports Business Journal Sports League of the Year award, beating out the NBA, the NFL, NHL, PGA Tour, the UFC, and the WNBA. Huge honors from the Sports Business Journal. Like insanely huge honor. I think a lot of it had to do with last year how NASCAR handled the pandemic. They were the first one back to their sport with a full schedule. They were the first one to complete a full schedule. They were the first ones to have fans in the stands safely. They did a lot of different social justice things. They banned the Confederate flag. Just a whole bunch of stuff that NASCAR got right last year. And the business world of sports recognizing it, and that's voted on by other sports professionals and stuff. It's not just some fan vote thing. So that was a huge honor for NASCAR. I know the MRN broadcast was super proud of that. The morning drive with Mike Bagley and Pete were talking about it Thursday morning when we were rolling into Pocono, and they were super thrilled about it. And just a huge honor.
That just shows you where the sport is headed, and what their model is going forward. And, we are the front runners, hey, everyone's going to follow us and we're doing it right. And I am actually I didn't know that until you just said that, Whitey. And that's awesome. I'm glad that my sport, got that recognition because, y'all know that a lot of times NASCAR gets shit on for things like that. And now
there's a lot of negative stereotypes that goes along with our sport, unfortunately. But it's definitely nice to be honored like that.
And I just roll my eyes and laugh because whenever I get to talking about NASCAR with people who, in my mind, quite frankly, are uneducated about NASCAR, they say, I stopped watching years ago. It's a redneck sport, or that sport died with Dale, or that sport doesn't have personality anymore. I'll tell you what, from what I saw this weekend firsthand, the sport is anything but dead. As a matter of fact, it's thriving.
I think
the sport is on an uptick in a big way.
Yeah, honestly, I think we're at the beginnings of a resurgence. I wouldn't say to the 2000s level because that was just insane. But I think it does have the possibility to get there. I mean, we have over the weekend our buddies Dirt and Duber met. He was a football player. You know, like there's a lot of celebrities that are getting drawn to this sport right now. Pitbull. I mean, it sounds silly, but Mr. Worldwide is into NASCAR and he owns a NASCAR team. Michael Jordan.
And they'll talk to their buddies.
Oh, yeah.
And they get like, hey, listen, Pitbull, one of his buddies will be like, hey, what are you doing going to a NASCAR race? Like, what is this all about?
Yeah.
And Pitbull's probably like, hey, come to a race with me. I'll show you what
it's all about.
And
yeah.
They bring them there. And once you're at a race, that's all it takes.
That's how you get hooked.
That's legitimately. I've heard it so many times from Dave Moody, all the guys in the morning drive. If you get to the race, just go to a race. It will change your mind about everything, and you will get hooked immediately if you go to a race live. It's amazing.
Alvin Kamara, a top 5 running back in the NFL, is quote unquote employed by NASCAR now, being an ambassador or whatever his role is.
Oh no, that's like a legit job. They're working on like social media strategies and all sorts of stuff to gain a bigger audience and stuff. That is a huge move, you know?
It's a sport that I'm telling you, it's coming. It's not all the way back yet, but it has all the makings to have that huge comeback that it needed. And guys, on top of all of that, the racing's been great.
Fantastic.
For the most part, the racing's been great.
Those races have been great. Used to be shitty.
Yeah.
Got better. Now they are great. Like the strategy involved there, they treat it like a road course. Like it puts on such a show, and I think people are finally appreciating it now.
And it was something we talked about, I think, last week about shortening races. Pocono used to be 500 miles, then they shortened it to 400. The racing got better. Now it was at what, 325 on Saturday and then 350 on Sunday. I can't remember exactly, but like that was the perfect window. That is. Because, Pocono could get drawn out, but you keep the races short, you keep people interested, and you keep fans happy, and you keep them coming back to the stands, and that's what it's all about.
For you, the chicken tender stand.
Chicken tender stand. Oh my God, chicken. You wanna know what? Honestly, the chicken tendies down in Pocono, I don't know what company's making them. They're phenomenal.
Yes,
drunk or not, they're tasty. Sausage and pepper sandwiches is great. The concessions.
Didn't you lose one? Didn't you lose one?
I did. I lost the chicken tendy. I knocked over the basket and one fell. It was devastating. No. Like honestly, it was devastating. I did not eat it though. I thought about it for a second. I go, nah, I can't do that.
When you told me that you lost the chicken tendy, I was just like, I saw the devastation in your face. You were definitely heartbroken.
You wanna know why I was heartbroken too? Because it was the like fattest, biggest one, like the wide. You know that wide one you get?
Yes.
Yeah, and then you nailed it off the table.
I was so mad. Anyways, we got an update on Brad Keselowski and Roush Fenway Racing. Now, no official word made yet, but apparently, according to sources, Roush Fenway Racing informed its partners that it has a done deal with Brad to become a driver and co-owner starting in 2022. No word if they'll go to a 3-car team or they'll drop Newman or Buescher will get the boot. No word on that. And there's also no word on who's going to replace Brad at Team Penske. I assume it's going to be Austin Cindric. But he was supposed to take that Wood Brothers team. So now the question is, does Matty D stay with the Wood Brothers / Team Penske, or does he still get the boot at the end of the year and they bring someone else in?
So I like doing these little teasers mid-show to kind of foreshadow what's going to be coming up later on in the show.
Yeah.
Austin Cindric, keep him in mind. I'm going to bring him up later on today.
Okay, sounds good. He won the Xfinity Series race, so I'm sure we've got some stuff to talk about there. Speaking of Team Penske, Todd Gordon dropped a bombshell on the morning drive yesterday on Sirius XM NASCAR radio. He will be retiring from crew chiefing at the end of the season. Team Penske and him are going to end the relationship at the end of 2021. He says he's going to be venturing off, doing something new. He doesn't know what it is yet, but he wants some more family time, which is completely understandable. He's been in the sport for over 20 years. He's won a championship with Joey Logano. I'm sure he's trying to win a championship this year with Ryan Blaney. And you never know. They've been sneakily steady this year. So maybe they could light it up in the playoffs and Todd Gordon could get his second championship before he hangs up the headset, if you will, for Team Penske. And that's about all I had for news. I'm sure I missed something along the way, but I think it was actually a pretty light news week this week. You guys want to jump into the racing weekend? We had 5 races in Pocono, including that ARCA race. Usually we don't mention ARCA, but we were actually there to see it. And I thought it was great. Matt, who won that ARCA race again?
Corey Heim.
Corey Heim.
Remember that name too.
I know.
Yeah, he's one of the ARCA regulars that's up there running in the front every week. So it wasn't a shock to see Corey Heim up there running and winning that race. Ty Gibbs, I thought he had the car to win that race, and I thought it was going to be a Gibbs show, but it turned out that Corey Heim got the win.
Yep.
Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, Ty Gibbs, Drew Dollar. Those are the guys that you want to pay attention to that I think will be household names in the next 10 years or so.
See, I'm going to make a bad joke here, but when I first read it, I read it as Corey Haim, and I thought it was the 80s child star. He had gotten into racing. I didn't realize it was a new guy. Wow. But yeah, I know he made news a couple weeks ago. I think he ran a truck race or an Xfinity Series race. Definitely going to be one of those guys to watch on their come up. We'll see where he lands after this season in ARCA. The truck race, Saturday afternoon at noon. Perfect time for some racing. Felt some of those raindrops, got nervous. The vortex theory, those big spoilers on those trucks pushing those rain clouds away. And John Hunter Nemechek beat the boss, man, yet again, his 5th win of the year and the 3rd time he beat Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch, of course, coming in second, just proving, like we've been saying for weeks now, that he made the right decision. And
keep it going, Johnny. Keep it going, buddy.
Keep it going. And you want to know what? I think he might skip Xfinity. I got a tinfoil hat since we brought up Team Penske before. Ford doesn't have a whole lot of drivers in the pipeline right now, not ones that are ready for Cup. But
ooh, I like this tinfoil.
John Hunter Nemechek already has Cup experience. He wanted that top tier ride. He couldn't get it right off the bat, so he went to the trucks. He's far exceeding anyone's expectations. So could he end up in the Wood Brothers ride next year? Could Cindric move over to the number 2 car?
No.
Or could they be swapped? I don't know.
No, I don't think Matty D's going anywhere next year.
All right. Okay.
And also, hey, is that Reynolds? It has to be Reynolds that you use for the tinfoil hat, right?
No, I go with the generic stuff.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's one thing. There's certain things you can go generic. There's certain things you can't.
Not tinfoil.
Not tinfoil.
You know what I made it of? It is Reynolds, but it's that special one that's made for sandwiches where it feels different. It's got that texture to it. And you know where to fold it to get the perfect fold.
Yeah, I know.
You get that perfect fold on your sandwiches, you know?
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? I'm like, this stuff is cool as hell. Yeah. Special aluminum foil for sandwiches, dude. Let's go.
All right. Moving on to Cup race number 1. Is what the CBD 325 or something, the Pocono Farm CBD 325. And Bowman the Showman getting the win, beating his teammate Kyle Larson, who took the lead with 2 to go. Had a tire go down. Bowman wore those tires out on Larson, and he got his 3rd win of the season. Bowman, I feel like I want to say he's sneakily good, but he's having kind of an up and down. Either he's on fire or he's running in 15th. He hasn't quite gotten it consistent, so we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But great performance by Alex Bowman. I was sitting next to some Bowman fans too during the race, and they were freaking out at that last lap pass. It was amazing.
I agree.
Yeah, Alex Bowman. I mean, I've always talked highly of Alex Bowman. Certain people. To me, he's like another Matt Kenseth, which I liked Matt Kenseth because of his dry humor. He wasn't very in your face, and I don't want a driver that like a Kyle Busch, where either you're hated or you're loved. Or I want a driver that's going to do something on the racetrack. He's good with the fans. He has a good reputation, and that's Alex Bowman in a nutshell. I don't think anyone hates Alex Bowman. I think he's having a year just like every one of his years. You nailed it, Whitey. He wins races, but other than winning those races, he has some hard weekends and multiple in a row sometimes for that 48 team. And Alex Bowman is someone that I think is going to be around for a long time, and it scares me to death because I think everyone in that Hendrick camp is going to be around for a long time. Yeah,
they're stacked for the next 5 to 10 years, and I think they're all just going to keep getting better and better. I have a great quote from Bowman in the Wreckers that you guys will enjoy. But Matt, I think you were going to say something.
I was just going to say that. I mean, I don't want to. Get into the grades yet unless you want to, but I was just going to say, you want to just get into them?
That's part of
Yeah, well, so we'll run through Sunday. We had Xfinity Series racing on track at noon. Austin Cindric got his 4th win of the season. Matt, was this one you were going to say something about Austin Cindric, or is that later on? Later on. Okay, and then Cup race number 2, fuel mileage battle. Amazing. Kyle Busch pulled the cold trickle and won the race with a jammed gearbox. I don't know if you guys saw that tweet today. Yeah. I retweeted it on the Bump and Run pod Twitter page, and I thought it was so funny. But yeah, messed up gearbox, stuck in 4th gear, had one
clutch,
burned up clutch, beat the odds, and came in as a winner yet again at Pocono. Matt, do you know how many wins he has at Pocono? I think it's 5 now. 4,
Kyle?
Something? Yeah.
I mean, I know I've seen him personally win like 3 or 4 at least.
Yeah.
I was in Victory Lane in 2018 when he won, I think. He was in the blue caramel M&M's car, I think, and he was in Victory Lane. So yeah,
he won spring of 2019. He won 2021. So yeah, he's got a bunch of wins down at Pocono. One of us actually picked him to win on Sunday, and Eric, you got your first pick right on Sunday. You picked the Candyman, Kyle Busch, for Pocono race number 2.
I closed the gap. I'm within 10 points of you, white man.
You better get so close. I'm getting nervous. I gotta have a good week at Road America this week, I think. All right, you guys want to jump into the race grades though? I think I know what everyone's race grade is going to be, but Matt, you want to give us yours first?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you guys did it the same way that I did it. I kind of combined both races. I mean, I kept them separate, but it ended up being the same thing anyway. For me, both races got an A+.
Yeah.
It's not just because it's our home track. I promise I try to keep all biases out of my grade because I want this to be as informational as possible. But both races were outstanding, man. The first race, we had that amazing battle with Bowman and Larson for the lead. The last, I don't know what, 20 laps was that?
It was like 18, 20 laps, something like that.
Laps.
Just great battle.
And it looked like, Bowman would pull away, but maybe Larson was playing with him, and we weren't really sure. We were all pretty positive that Larson was just waiting to pounce. And then he pounced, but he ended up using up his tires.
See, I was the opposite. I was watching from the grandstands. I'm like, man, Bowman's holding him off so well. He's keeping that gap between them. Like he was really going where Kyle tried to go. Like, I thought it was great.
And it was a great battle between teammates because it was clean, but they were still both clearly trying to beat each other.
Oh, yeah.
Neither of them were like letting off.
No one was going to give up.
Like they were racing.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the guy who everyone, so I went back and watched the last couple laps of the NBC broadcast, and on the last lap after Larson took the white flag, that whole lap, the broadcast booth was talking about how like this is a huge win for Larson.
Yeah.
How he's gonna make history, getting 5 in a row, and like they had him. Everyone in the world had him win the race. As a matter of fact, we stopped paying attention because it was over, and then Eric was on a platform about 20 feet ahead of me. He turned around shocked.
Yeah.
And then everyone just kind of said, like, Larson's in the wall. Bowman's going to win this.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't believe it. And it ended up just like, for me personally, that Saturday race was the best Pocono race I've ever seen, just from that battle all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday with the fuel mileage, it was almost as good, but both the top 2 Pocono races I've personally ever seen. I thought that was really, really good for Pocono. I mean, we were all skeptical of having a doubleheader weekend because we know how the weather is and everything, and we knew it was very, very risky. And man, they gambled and it freaking paid off in a huge way, in every way possible. It paid off for them, and so an A+ goes to that race this weekend. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah, just absolutely amazing weekend, Eric. I'm assuming you're probably going to echo a lot of Matt's sentiments there. What was your race grade?
Oh yeah, A+, for the whole weekend. I'm not going to nitpick any race because, the vibes are just so good all weekend long at Pocono, and that helped the race grade too, and to be around our whole camping group and watch that amazing race unfold. Battles all day, couple accidents here and there. The race had everything for every type of fan. There's certain fans that will argue a certain thing because they like that, and others will say the opposite. But you had a couple accidents for the people that like to see that, and you had strategy involved and just good, hard battles in racing. And, like Matt said, I remember the platform that I was on. I was top of Luke's van, and I remember sitting there and I'm like, we are watching a legend right now. We're watching history, and I'm like going, this is amazing. I'm going 5 in a row. Like, this is just unheard of. Like, he's putting a whooping. Like, this is awesome. Let's go. My girlfriend's a Larson fan. I turned around. I'm like, Dana, this is about to happen. And then all of a sudden I turn around and there's a big screen where we're camping in front of us so we could watch the TV broadcast as well as see the racetrack. And, I caught a glimpse of the TV screen and I saw sparks coming when he was coming, through that
around
whatever little
corner.
Shuttle shoot, out of two coming into 3 there. And I'm like, is this a replay? In my head, it immediately goes, they're showing when Larson dominates a race, when when he's leading, he always has something happen. I thought it was, honest to God, another race replay showing that this is what happened to Larson. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, this is real life. No. My jaw dropped. I was in such shock that it happened. I'm like, how does this happen? It was just so amazing. So, A+ all around, the fuel strategy. I went, from forgetting to set my fantasy lineup too for that first race, and coming out there a little bit the whole weekend. I kind of I rebounded, so I won 2 of the last 3 weeks in fantasy. So that gave me a big bump this weekend at Pocono. I closed the gap on you, Whitey, 10 points in our little competition league we have going with the podcast. So overall, it was just an A+ weekend, man.
Matt's dad's beating me by 10 points in fantasy now, too. You know what kills me? My Saturday fantasy lineup would have dominated on Sunday. And my Sunday lineup was just not the best all around.
I might make a shirt for the podcast that just on the back is our logo, like the Bump and Run podcast logo, and then on the front it just says Matt's dad.
Matt's dad.
We bring him up an awful lot.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's
you know what? We talk about guests on here a lot of times. You know what? And you know what? He might have to have a Skype call-in appearance one of these weeks.
We'll have to get that together. Yeah,
we got some off weeks coming up. Maybe we'll line him up as a guest for one of those days while they're doing the Olympics. But he moved into second place. He's beating me in fantasy. I'm in third now. I dropped from second to third. I'm real disappointed in that. So I got to have a big performance in Road America. I am going to echo all your sentiments on this race. I gave an A for the entire weekend. People love to dog Pocono for being a boring race. I thought both races were super exciting the whole time in different ways. That was another thing I was nervous about with the doubleheader, was we were going to see the same race play out 2 days in a row, even with the invert, and it was completely different. The
weather had something to do with that, though, too, Whitey. Sorry to cut you off, but like, I wanted to bring that up. Like, so Saturday, it was a little more overcast. Like you said, it looked like a ton of rain clouds were moving in, but they never produced any rain. And on Sunday, it was way hotter and more
sunny,
blue skies on Sunday. So the track was a little bit hotter. I don't know if that had anything to do with the racing on track, but it was, I had the same nervousness about what we were going to get having back-to-back days, same race.
I think the track definitely played into it because, like you said, Saturday it was like overcast, and I think the high was 79, 80. And then Sunday, it was pretty hot out there. I think it hit 88 in the Pocono Mountains. It was 95 when we got back to the valley. That's about 1,000 foot elevation difference. So that adds like another 5 degrees to our temperature. So it was a hot one. I felt bad during the Xfinity Series race when Justin Haley got in that accident and he was laying down on the pavement in pain. And all I could think is, man, that track's got to be hot, because I was sweating.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that part of it.
And that was at the point in the weekend where I think we had all given up to, and we were just like exhausted, and we had drank so many beers. I drank about 4 beers on Sunday just to have something cold. I didn't even catch a buzz or anything. I didn't want to. I just needed something cold to cool me down. And all our waters were sitting out and got hot, so that wasn't an option. But yeah, just people love to dog the dullness of Pocono. I think shortening those races really made a huge difference. I thought they knocked it out of the park from the fan experience. We had full campgrounds, completely sold out. That's like 3,500 campers and tent. That's just spots, not how many people were actually there. The grandstands were packed. Both Saturday and Sunday. Sunday looked like it was an even bigger crowd than Saturday. Great weather all weekend. Great battle at the end of Saturday's race. I got to tell you, when Larson took the lead on Saturday, my girlfriend had driven down just for the cup race because she doesn't like to leave the dog for too long alone at the house in its crate. And so I was thinking like, oh, traffic and all that stuff. When Larson took the lead, I almost turned to her and go, hey, do you want to leave now? I'll go help you find your car and you could get out of here before the traffic came. And boy, am I glad I didn't, because right as they were coming around turn 3, like I said, I had some Bowman fans right next to me. This girl was freaking out. And like, I didn't see it on the screen because I was like looking down. I'm like, wait, what happened? All of a sudden I see Bowman come across the line. And then I think it was 9 cars later, Larson comes sliding through. The whole side of his car is mangled. He hit turn 1 again. Like, it was just insanity. I was like, whoa, yeah! Like, just for the craziness. Like, I had to cheer just for the craziness of the whole entire thing. And that's gonna.
Yeah, he didn't even make it all the way back around after he crossed over the start finish line. Larson, I think he had to get helped back.
He did, yeah, because he hit turn 1 again. And you all know what? I went back. We both watched the call on that, and because we were like, man, Dale Jr. is good. Like, how did he spot that tire going down before he hit that wall? But you could see like a puff of smoke and then some sparks. I'm like, man, those guys in the booth. I don't know how they do it.
Like, yeah, I just saw the boom and that sparks. I'm like, no. I thought it wasn't real. I thought they put on a replay of another race.
It's like, oh, this is how Larson's come so close so many times, you know? But yeah, just a great weekend all around. And you guys know me, I love fuel strategy races. I love when NBC has the call. I think Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton and Rick Allen do a phenomenal job when it comes to calling fuel mileage. And I know a lot of people tend to hate the manufacturer drama because a lot of times they'll talk about fuel mileage and they'll talk about guys coming close and then they don't run out. We saw guys run out of gas. Like Denny had to come in for a splash and go, although his crew chief said he could have made it, he thinks, if they did
about the tunnel turn
to the tunnel turn, and then they would have ran out, and they didn't know if they would be able to complete the lap.
That's what happened to Kyle Busch in 2015, though, when Kenseth won. He to about the tunnel turn, and he ran out. Kenseth was running like 15, 16 seconds behind.
Yeah.
But when you're running that far behind, Kenseth, he was allowed to save so much more fuel because, I'm already 16 seconds back. I'm going to save as much fuel as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone just started running out in front.
And you've got to remember too. I think we lost Eric for a second.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember too, when you're at the tunnel turn, there's still about 1.5 miles to get back to the start finish line.
Yeah.
It's like a whole other lap at any 1.5 mile track.
And like, what a great job too, because at one point I think Denny was in second or third and Kyle was in either third and fourth. And that's when they decided to go. Kyle put the pressure on Denny, and I feel like he made Denny go quicker than he wanted to and used up that gas and capitalized on it. I just thought that was great strategy, great calls from the pit crew. You guys know I'm not a big Kyle Busch fan, but you got to be happy with that kind of win, especially when he's coming back from having issues with his gearbox, jammed up in fourth gear. You guys want to jump into I feel like that was a checkers for the weekend, but that wasn't even my checkers for the weekend. You guys want to jump into the checkers and the wreckers?
Sir.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go with Eric for your checkers and wreckers.
All right, so for my checkers, I have to go with the crowd at Pocono, man. They just really showed up. They filled the infield faster than I've ever seen in my entire life going to Pocono. We got there, an hour before camping registration was supposed to go down.
Yeah.
So we were there from the start. It was packed. The infield was packed. The truck series was packed. ARCA was packed. The fans, you could really tell that, they needed a weekend like this. They were
excited to be back.
To get out. They were excited to be back at Pocono Raceway. Doubleheader, first time with fans. But besides the normal fans, my checkers goes to finally getting my friends to the racetrack and seeing it live. To me, there's buddies that, they would say, yeah, we'll go, and they never would show up. Never.
Yeah.
And this year, finally, we got a crew that they showed up at the racetrack, and I said, you're gonna have a good time. And you know what? Thanks to Pocono Raceway, like you mentioned earlier, Whitey, we were able to go out on our bikes on the racetrack, go down pit road. Some of my buddies, they didn't expect that, at one point, my buddy, he goes, I thought we had pit passes come with your ticket. And they went down to pit road, and Brandon's going, I thought I was somewhere where I wasn't supposed to be.
You're not supposed to be here.
Because he goes, I was talking to a crew member, and there's lug nuts flying everywhere. I'm going, Brandon, that's what NASCAR's about.
Yeah.
Getting the fan as close to the experience as possible. So, Brandon, his mind was blown with the concerts, everything. So finally, to get my friends to come to camping at Pocono, to show them that you could have some of the best times of your life there, even if you're not a diehard NASCAR fan like we all are. There is so much there to do. There is so much that Pocono puts on that the fan could experience and get close to the, all the activities that have that go on there during the weekend. That's my checkers. Just finally, my friends showing up, and we talk about it all the time when we come back. Oh, it was such a good time. Oh, I wish I went. And I think we all changed their lives this past weekend at Pocono. I think they have a different perception of what NASCAR is, what, it is to go to a race. And I just got to give my checkers to my buddies that finally showed up for us, for me to make my weekend, not only my weekend, that, that made my 2021 so far.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we had so many people that aren't NASCAR. We have a lot of friends that are NASCAR fans, but we had so many that came down that, they
was just looking for a good time.
Yeah. Just wanted to hang out and party. And I think the rate,
and you'll get that.
And I think the races just really impressed them.
My famous saying like is like you don't even, it's not even about not liking NASCAR. You could hate NASCAR. You can hate it and come to a NASCAR race and have an unbelievably fun time.
Absolutely.
It's just the atmosphere, and like it's the family atmosphere too. So it's like it's the party atmosphere, but everyone has each other's backs all at the same time. Like I was completely comfortable leaving my vehicle unlocked that whole weekend. I knew we weren't going to have a single problem with that because people don't do that.
Everyone's just super respectful. I mean, at one point in the weekend, my battery died, and me and Matt were trying to get it jump started. Apparently, there's a difference in jumper cables. Like sometimes you need a little bit of thicker cable, like a heavy duty cable. And the people across the way, they were kind enough to give me their pair of cables to get it started again, and it fired right back up. And then
it was that Toyota Tacoma power feeding into that Ford that helped get it started.
You want to know what? It must have been that. It had to be all those horses underneath that Toyota Tacoma. But yeah, I mean, of course, the guys busted my balls later on about it, you know. But yeah, it's that cool family atmosphere where everyone's got everyone's got each other's backs because they're all there for the same thing. They'll bust your balls,
but they'll help you anyway. It doesn't matter. That's just how it is.
We're all out there for the same thing, to enjoy the sport we love and honestly just get out and enjoy the outdoors. The Pocono Mountains are beautiful. You got to come check them out. It's a great time.
Yeah, so my records was tough to come by since everything in the weekend just went so well. It really did. You know, there's always Pocono and the weather and the doubleheader. I know we were a little negative about it, you know, saying, oh, they're taking a gamble with the weather and is it going to work? And how is the fans, the crowd? But they nailed it out of the park with that. But I was searching for a record, and there's one thing, and I think y'all could appreciate this, was the flyover for Saturday was absolutely fucking sick. That big, it wasn't a AC 130, but it was something similar.
Yeah,
dude.
I don't know what kind of
instead of propellers, dude. It was the most nimble. It was the most nimble, like Greyhound bus in the air I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And like this dude, it was a sick flyover. Don't get me wrong. Right. Mm-hmm. So now race 2, I'm going, okay, this is where we're going to get the jets.
You got to bring the jets in. This is where it's going to happen.
Did not bring the jets in. Another big ass fucking plane.
Hey, I think it was the same plane. I think it was the same one.
No, I think it was a different plane.
Was it?
Same style. Yeah. And like,
it flew a different route.
Say it with me. I can't help myself. Say it with me. Ready?
Nope.
J-E-T-S. Jets.
So that's my record. Not having the goddamn F-16s fly by. Oh, there's nothing gets the blood pumping like hearing those fucking fighter jets go flying by.
I want to see them buzz the tower, damn it.
Yeah. All the fireworks go up, boom, 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 as they go.
But you want to know what?
Missed opportunity, Pocono. Get those jets back.
You want to know what, though? If the flyover is your only complaint from the weekend, you had a great weekend. Exactly, right. Yeah.
Tough.
Matt,
pick a record.
Matt, what's your checkers and wreckers?
So we mentioned the ARCA race earlier, and for everyone who doesn't know what I'm about to mention, once you're done listening to this podcast, you have to go watch it. My checkers goes to with just a few laps left in the ARCA race on a restart. Chandler Smith got run down to the inside wall by Ty Gibbs, and he didn't bounce off the wall. Like he was heading towards the inside wall, saved it, cut all the way back across in front of the entire pack.
And they were like 4 wide at the time.
Yes, 4 wide, full speed, never got hit. He never spun out, and Chandler Smith saved that thing. And it was the most impressive save I have ever seen.
We were right in front of it.
Yeah.
When I say, like, if you go back and you watch the replay of it and you slow it down, you will actually see us. You do see us. Yeah. We're in the front row. Like, yes, you'll see. Yeah, you'll see us. You have to slow it. You have to slow it down. You have to pay attention, but you'll see us. It happened when, like, I say that save happened right in front of us. It happened right in front of us, and then like I couldn't stop thinking about it, and like we talked about it the rest of that night, Friday night, and then Saturday morning we were like, we have to see a video of it. Like yes, it was amazing, but let's just see if we were biased because it happened right in front of us and it was really
exciting,
cool to watch.
Yeah.
And then we saw the replay of it, and it was even better than I remembered it being.
Yeah.
It was the best save. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Now that I have some time to think about it, like it was, I still say it was the best save I've ever seen. It was
not mangle the whole field. To not mangle that whole field.
Go Google. Pause the podcast right now if you're listening to it or watching, and Google Chandler Smith save at Pocono.
Don't even Google. Head on over to Twitter at Bump and Run Pod. I retweeted it on Saturday morning. You could check it out there. It was absolutely insane.
It was insane. So go check that out. And then my Wreckers goes to, and once again, if what I'm about to say is the worst thing that happened to us, then we did all right. No cell tower at Pocono. Like we had pretty shitty cell reception at Pocono all weekend, which I'll be honest, even though it's my Wreckers, sometimes it was nice because we weren't all buried in our phones all weekend, which is always a good thing. But there was some times where we could have used it, some better cell service, setting up lineups, making sure everything was set, checking the garage. It was kind of hard. It was kind of hard to do that. And I just think, we're in 2021. You can literally, I'm not exaggerating, you can literally fit a town inside of Pocono Raceway. Put a freaking cell tower up. Just a freaking cell tower up, and it would make all the difference for the fans involved.
What carrier do you have?
Verizon.
See, I have Verizon too, and I had 5G LTE inside the infield the whole entire time. I had no issues.
I did too, but my cell phone was slow as shit. Maybe it's because there's X amount of people all in the same concentrated area.
It could have been bogging things down and stuff.
I will say this. So in Daytona, it's terrible too.
You can't get anything in Daytona.
Anything at Daytona.
I think it's because the grandstands and stuff. It creates a barrier.
There's something about like these racetracks. Like I know the big, huge grandstands at Pocono almost mimic like Daytona length, not as far as height, but
it's like half the height.
That has to do, like the grandstands have Wi-Fi, but it doesn't reach the infield. And where we're camping in the infield, I do agree, Matt. You could put a tower up right in the infield and allow the campers that access as well.
Know what else? Now that I'm thinking about it too, is like even at Penn State games, 110,000 people. It's super. Like I remember, because going to college there, I remember it was always super hard to use your phone at games. Yeah. So maybe it's just so many condensed people in one area probably using the same tower. It probably affects it some way.
I think the grandstands affect it too, because the only time I didn't have service was when I was in the grandstands. But thankfully, Pocono finally installed Wi-Fi, and it was a good connection to Wi-Fi. But again, you can't get it in the infield. You could only really get it in the fan zone and the.
But once again, if that's my record,
your only complaint,
then really we have nothing to complain about. It was a perfect weekend. What can I say?
So I did a checkers for both days. Saturday, already covered it. Bowman just putting up a great fight. Like honestly, I think he did such a good job of holding off Larson. Yeah, Larson passed him in the end, but I think he wore out Larson's tires to where it made them blow. Like 100%. You can't plan that, but apparently, I heard someone was talking about the Larson's line. He was cutting turn 2 so deep to try to pass Bowman and keep up with him that it was flexing the tire, and that's what could have caused the weakness in the sidewall. And would eventually made it blow. So just got to give mad props to Bowman. And Sunday, William Byron, Eric's new boy, racing his way back to the lead lap, the old school way before the stage ended. And then he was in position in the lead near the end. Of course, he needed to stop for splash and go gas too. So he didn't get the win. But I mean, to go from a lap down, put yourself back on the lead lap, old school style, passing the leader at the finish line before the stage break ended, and he dove it in deep.
Oh, yeah, and not only to pass the leader, Whitey, but like he damn near dumped him coming out of turn 3 to get
Yeah.
He drove in there so hard
and he did
that he got right to his bumper, and he's like, oh, he made a little, so he's like, where do I go? Do I go outside? Do I keep pushing? And when I'm like, there's no way he's going to get it. Yeah, he pushed that 24 car to the limit to get that lap back.
He actually reminded me of a guy who used to drive that 2-4. He reminded me of Gordon.
Oh,
that was a legendary move.
Oh yeah.
And the thing that impressed me about it so much is he didn't have to do that. He was gonna get the lucky dog. He did it just to do it, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was absolutely phenomenal, you know? Just a great race from Bowman on Sunday, or from Byron on Sunday. And Team Hendrick as a whole, killing it all weekend long. Except for Chase having some issues in race 1. He got hit in the back, bumped the guy in front of him, put a hole in his nose. I think the same thing kind of happened to Larson too. He had a big patch on his nose on Sunday. I'm not exactly sure what happened there.
That put him on a completely different strategy, which
worked out because he got a top 10 finish.
Yeah. So I thought about this too. Think about this. So, that Saturday race, we were all devastated that oh my God, we couldn't believe what happened. Oh, I was yelling, this is history. I can't believe I'm here. This is amazing. We're part of something huge. And then that happened. So Larson was a corner and about 500 feet away from winning Saturday and his 5th consecutive race.
Yeah.
He was on Sunday, probably a fuel rail away from sweeping Pocono.
Yeah.
He could have won 6 in a row. He could have easily won 6 in a row. A blown tire and Kyle Busch's fuel rail just filled with fuel in it prevented him from sweeping the weekend. Kyle Larson could be on a 6-race win streak right now. Think about that. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
But just like that, you never can count anyone else out on that track, you know?
And that's NASCAR. You're going to get that. You're going to have that.
And that's the beauty of it. Like anything could happen in that last lap. You never know. My records for the weekend, and honestly, the only complaint I could have, Saturday, the downfall of a doubleheader. No burnout after Bowman's win, and he was even upset with it too. I saw a great quote. He goes, "Can't do a burnout. I typically stand on the roof of the car. Can't do that. I typically drink all the beers. Can't do that. I have to be way more responsible than I really want to be right now." That was after Saturday's race. And
it was fantastic, man. It makes me proud that he's part of the Hendrick stable, and it makes sense that why Junior hand picked him to fill in when he retired.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for the weekend. We saw some solid runs out of Harvick with a top 10 and a top 5. Larson with that blown tire with he's still wait, what was this? Larson with a blown tire in 3, still finished in 9th place. That was impressive too, that he was still able to pull off a top 10 with a blown tire. Just thought that was great. Kyle Busch wins in 4th gear. Kurt Busch with another solid weekend that put him in the top 16 to go to the playoff run. He's, I think, 3 points above the cut line, so we'll see what happens with him if Ganassi and Kurt Busch could keep that ball rolling. Another Ganassi guy, Ross Chastain, had some great runs over the weekend.
Chastain had a great run. Run this weekend.
I thought he would get another top 10 on Saturday, but a little contact with the wall threw some damage in it, and kind of screwed up his day, but he was running real strong all day. Bubba with his first top 5 of the season on Sunday, and his first top 5 with the new team. Michael Jordan was in attendance.
So Michael Jordan being there, maybe
Jordan, I guess he said Jordan texted him or I guess probably just talked to him after the race and said he was really proud of him. So
yeah,
that's got to give you a nice shot in the arm if you're Bubba Wallace going into next week.
So
although it's a road course next week, and that's not Bubba's forte.
No, we'll see where he goes from here. We got a lot more road courses coming up. Yeah. Daniel Suarez with another good run over the weekend. His finish didn't really show how he was running all week, though. He got a 13th and a 15th place finish. Saturday, he was running within the top 10 pretty much all day long. So he's only 48 points out on the playoffs currently, 18th in the standing. I mean, if they could rattle off some top 5s and then one of those cut line drivers has some bad luck a couple weeks in a row, like Chris Buescher's been having, I could see Daniel Suarez possibly making it into the playoffs. I know a couple weeks ago, everyone was like, "Oh, the playoff 16, it's already set." And a couple bad runs for Buescher, and things have gotten shaken up.
They haven't been around.
Oh, yeah.
Every week, like you just saw what happened to Larson. That shit could happen any week from here on out to any driver out there in the field. So it's still wide open as far as the bottom cutoff goes, for sure.
And speaking of Larson, he's been hunting down Denny Hamlin for first place in points. He's just 2 points away. So I think if he has another solid run this weekend at Road America, I think he's going to be first in points after the day is done. As long as he finishes 2 points ahead or 2 positions ahead of Denny, we'll see what happens there. And finally, my boy Tyler Reddick stayed out of the grass this weekend for an 11th and 9th place finish. So I was really proud of him there. And he's officially gotten the same amount of top 10s this season as he did last season, and we still have how many races to go. So things looking good for Reddick and RCR.
I'll end my little so to the listeners out there and to the viewers on YouTube. So this weekend at Pocono, we're having beers, we're having a good time, and they said we could ride our bikes around the track and whatnot.
I was so mad at this.
Pocono has that like an access road. So like if you do have a blown tire, like you don't have to stay on the racetrack. You go down onto the lower road to get to pit road.
It's in like turn 3, I think, right?
Yeah, coming out of 2 through 3 and into pit road.
Yeah,
I had my buddy Jay take a video of me on my bike, and I was going down that road driving all nice, and then I took my bike into the grass and I turned up going, oh, look at me, I'm Tyler Reddick. Oh, look at Tyler Reddick. Oh, and I sent it to Whitey, and I was busting his balls all weekend about it, and it was all fun and games. But now Whitey, the weekend's over. It's all fun and games, and it happened. I'm gonna finally let it go, but. It was fun busting your balls all weekend about it.
I was laughing hard at that Snapchat, but as soon as I opened, I go, that son of a bitch, you son of a bitch. Because I would never even thought to do that, too. Like, that was just a good all-around, ball busting.
We'll tweet it out on the Bump and Run Twitter page.
Did you save the video?
I saved the video. All right, nice. Saved the video, so tweet it out.
We're all-American ball busters.
Yeah, and... one of the favorite things. So Saturday morning was the day that my car battery died. So it started off real rough for me anyways. And then that was the same day my girlfriend was going to come down, watch the cup race. And I was just nervous about her being able to find me because I had her ticket inside. So I had to go out to the parking lot, find her, get it. So I was stressing about that all day long. You know me, I'm a little high strung. And Eric all Saturday morning was like, Whitey, you got to get out of this funk. Because I want to make fun of Tyler Reddick, and I can't do it if you're this sad right now, and distraught. Yeah. And
I'm an already beaten man right now. I said you gotta raise your spirits, so I could just beat him right back down, buddy. Come on.
But no, he had a good race Saturday and Sunday, so I was happy with that. And that's pretty much all the highlights I could think of.
I saw this on Twitter today, and I just wanted to mention it because we're talking about people that are going to get a ride in Cup and all this silly season stuff.
Yeah.
Justin Allgaier, he was a last-minute fill-in for Spire Motorsports, and he finished 25th.
Yeah, he did
and you
well.
know what? To just say, hey, fill in for me and come in 25th in an unknown ride, that was impressive to me.
Quite literally last minute.
Yeah. So he's contends down there in the Xfinity Series almost every race. He's one of the top dogs there. And as much as I talk about it, I'd like to see him stay in Xfinity and build Xfinity and create maybe some competition down there, maybe a little drama between some of those guys down there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these Cup guys look to Allgaier for a full-time ride.
Matt, you're a Junior Motorsports fan, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. Has Allgaier ever won the Xfinity Series championship?
No.
Do you think he wants to stay there and try to accomplish that goal? Because he's in his 30s. I feel like he's an Xfinity Series guy through and through.
He said that he of course he would welcome opportunities if they came his way, but he's not out there pursuing anything in the Cup Series right now. He likes where he's at. The Junior Motorsports family is exactly that. It's a family, and he loves racing there. So he said he would never, not consider something, but he's not out there, actively pursuing anything in Cup.
And you want to, I like that too, because I look at Justin Allgaier as like that. He's that Xfinity Series veteran. He's the Matt Crafton of the Xfinity Series, the guy who's just content being where he is. He runs his races. He enjoys it. He's running for his own championship and his own goals. And if something bigger happens, sure, that's great. He filled in for Jimmy Johnson last year at Indy when Jimmy was out for COVID. He filled in for Justin Haley this past weekend. But yeah, it's nice to see guys content with running in their series, something Eric's been saying for weeks now.
Yeah, and I can see him and AJ Allmendinger being like a staple in that Xfinity series and being at high level. But like before you move on, Whitey, I just had to mention it. Kyle Busch's attitude, I wanted to bring up. He's been in a happy mood. If you said that about Kyle,
Saturday and Sunday.
And even Dale Jr. said, and like, it's like, you never see Kyle in this happy of a mood, this like, excited over the radio. He's singing in the radio.
Yeah. And, he's singing Fly Like an Eagle.
Yeah. And one thing that I really liked when he won the race, he didn't just like thank his crew and this and that. He actually shouted out his fuel man.
Oh yeah.
And said it was him that won me the race because hey, it's all he had to get that in there. He gave him enough fuel. He pulled that out. And like, you never hear him say him by their name. And I think his name was Matt something, but Kyle Busch said, he goes, you know what? If it wasn't for him, a fuel man. And like, Kyle knew his name. Like you don't really put that together a lot, that like, they know those guys. They are friends with those guys. It's not just like they're just some, Joe Schmo, putting fuel into his car. Like, he knew who he was, and I thought that was
team.
Cool of Kyle to do that. Yeah.
You want to know what that reminds me too? That's the second race that Kyle's fuel guy won him, because he won at Texas last year during the playoffs. Of course, he wasn't in the playoffs, but he won that Texas race due to a great fuel strategy and the Jackman slowly lowering the car to allow every drop of gas to get in that car. And that just goes to show you how important these teams are. What's up, Matt?
You know who I got to meet? So you remember, I think I told you guys this over the weekend, because you guys weren't with me. I was with our buddy Douse and somebody else. Who was with me? Brandon. I don't know. Was Brandon with us? There was a lot of beer being drank. But you know who I got to meet? You remember the crew member on Chase's team last year at Martinsville that jumped
and reset himself.
Knew enough to reset himself, and that's essentially what got Chase to the championship, and then he won the championship.
Yeah.
I met that crew guy just for a brief second. I met him. Huge guy, really nice guy though. He, was just for a brief second, and he was gone. But I thought that was pretty cool. I told him, I was like, "You won the championship for Chase last year," and he just kind of like, he was humble about it.
Yeah.
But it was.
He
cool.
really did though. He kept Chase's playoff run alive with that move.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show you how important those guys on pit road are. Let's see. Let's jump into the last place for Saturday and Sunday. Every NASCAR podcast loves to talk about the winner. Here on the Bumper Run podcast, we like to talk about the loser of the race. So the last place guy, Saturday, Cole Custer got hooked by Brad Keselowski and ended his day early. It was real early on in the race. Hate to see it. I like Cole Custer, and he's just been having a rough one this year. All of Stuart Haas has.
I rewatched that, and I thought Brad just like dumped him, but I take that back. I rescind that.
I don't think he did it on purpose.
Yeah, I think he thought he was going to block him.
Yeah,
and I thought Custer thought he was going to block him too, but Custer changed his mind at the last second. I feel like
his spotter probably called him not clear.
I think that's a spotter thing, not a driver thing.
I think so too.
Just a racing incident. I think Brad was trying to avoid a wreck, but in turn, caused the wreck.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say this just because my wife Steph just stepped in the room real quick here. I'll still say it. Brad Keselowski's a scumbag.
Oh, when it happens, I was in the stands just yelling, "Scumbag! Brad Keselowski's a fucking scumbag!" Like, but no, I agree. I think it was one of those racing deals because you could see Custer kind of moving up, and then he hesitated. He stayed in his line, and then Brad came down.
He knew he couldn't fit in, and he bailed on trying to get into the line. And Brad was like, "Oh, if he's going to try to come in here, I'm going to get out of the way." And I think at that same moment, they both decided to get out of the way, and Brad got into him.
Yeah,
but to Matt's point, Brad Keselowski is a fucking scumbag.
Scumbag. But we wish him luck at Roush Fenway Racing next year. We'll see how that works out for him.
And Whitey, you should actually rescind your scumbag comment because the man who saved you, who gave you the jumper cables that worked.
Oh, he was a Team Penske fan.
Penske, yeah.
Baby.
So I didn't notice the number 2. I thought it was just a plain Jane Penske hoodie. In my mind, he was a Ryan Blaney fan, so it was all right.
No, there was a big number 2 on. There was a blue deuce on the back of his hoodie. Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, sir, and I'm glad Brad had a good Saturday or Sunday for you. I think he came in 3rd or 4th. I think it was the 3rd place finish for Brad. Sunday, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had himself some bad luck. Apparently had a blown engine that ended his day early. I didn't notice that it happens. In fact, I didn't even realize who came in last.
I didn't either. No. I had no idea that happened to Ricky because, I mean, I guess I should have known that it happened to him because he didn't cause a big one like he normally does.
So that's
this year you can't say that. This year I gotta take that back. I'm used to saying, Ricky Stenhouse. I gotta take that back. I gotta think of him as one of these contenders because he's proven himself to be a contender.
And that's what I was gonna say. I hate to see it because he's been having some great runs this season. He's coming off a 6th place finish at Nashville last week. He's coming off a 15th place on Saturday, which isn't the best, but that put him in good position for Sunday where he was starting in the top 5. And he was running up front for a little bit there. I thought he was running really well. I guess just something happened with those engines. Couldn't last the 2 days. That's the endurance of a doubleheader, though. I guess it is what it is. But we're getting late in the day. You guys want to jump into the Pick a Lane segment. This is where I throw out 2 topics. You guys get to choose which lane you're going in. The choose cone is out with the success of this weekend's doubleheader. Should we look into doing more doubleheader weekends or keep it special to Pocono or even go back to a separate 2-weekend Pocono schedule? What do you guys think? What are you feeling on the doubleheaders?
I'll take this one because Eric said he wanted to see where I was going to go with this. Yeah. And I think it's going to, as much as we just said how much fun we just had this weekend, I think what I'm about to say is going to surprise a lot of people. So, it went well this weekend. It went better than anyone could have ever expected it.
Yeah.
The original reason why they did the doubleheader, for anyone who might not know, is because last year they were preparing for the Olympic coverage.
Yeah, they needed 2 weekends free for the Olympics.
They needed, so they looked at the NASCAR schedule because NBC does both NASCAR and the Olympics. And they said, let's go ahead and combine Pocono for the doubleheader. They're doing it again this year because the Olympics are this year now. Yeah. And so that's why the doubleheader was birthed. What I would personally like is to get back to the 2 weekends at Pocono, and a couple reasons why. One, the local economy. We're always talking about, especially after the pandemic, about the mom and pops shops and helping the local economy. And I think the 1 weekend really hurts them up there. So I think the 2 weekends, bringing them back to the 2 weekends would really benefit the local economy. And then just for me personally, that would give you the opportunity to have, the 1 week, let's just say the first weekend I could come up and camp with the boys and have a great old time like we just did. And then I know my wife likes to go to the race as well. So, maybe that second weekend, I do it with her. We do the grandstands and just do like a family type deal. And so you can have those 2 different type of weekends where you don't really get that choice when it's all packed into one. So for personal reasons, I would like to see them get back to the 2-weekend deal.
Okay. How about you, Eric? Where you fall on the doubleheader weekend in future?
I agree with Matt that it was like a flawless weekend when we all thought it was going to be trouble. I enjoyed the party. I love it. I love that everyone got up there. I love that because sometimes on Sundays, you tend to like slow down and not get too banged up for the race, and you kind of just watch it for what it is. I was ecstatic to actually be able to drink and party and get bombed and let it all loose on Saturday for a cup race at Pocono. Yeah. I've done it a couple times on Sundays where I did get wild and let loose and stayed over to Monday. But this type of weekend, getting there Thursday as early as we had to because of, the traffic and the anticipation of all these campers going in there, we partied hard from Thursday on. And, come Sunday, that race, it was like, man, like we just went through one of the most exciting races of our lives on Saturday. Yeah. Now Sunday comes around. It's 90 degrees out. It's boiling. We're there. We got to pack up. There's another race going on. That's one of the times where I'm like, man, I just wish I was home on my couch watching it on TV.
Yeah.
It made the weekend a little longer. And I can agree with Matt where like, I just want another Pocono weekend. I love going up there. Yeah. I love having 2 weekends. It's just another opportunity to get the friends together, maybe get more people up there that didn't have an opportunity. That's what I always liked about the 2 races at Pocono. If I had something going on for the July race, I'd go to the June. If I had something going on in June, I had an opportunity to make it to the July race.
And I think that's how a lot of people were. A lot of people went to one or the other. They didn't always go to both.
And I know there's a few friends that listen to our show. My buddies from Jersey, I know I've mentioned them before. My buddy Lance and Billy, and I miss them this race. They're another part of my Pocono family that. I introduced you guys to the dirt, and to Adam and, Duber and all those guys and my whole, my Pocono camping family. And they're part of that. And they missed out because they would pick the July race over the June and they would only be able to go to one. Yeah. And we missed them this year. And I think that's what takes away for me certain groups that I was able to see and encounter in that infield. But it went well. I'm not going to be mad or devastated that they keep it. But I think I'm just being selfish as a hometowner.
To be able to go see both races.
To be able to go see both races at 2 separate events. Because like now you have 2 full weekends again. And, to Matt's credit, there's a lot of, small mom and pop. We are in the Pocono Mountains. There's not, a lot of populated areas around us. So some of these little, breakfast inns and places for people to stay, like they really look forward to the Pocono weekend. So either way, I'm not going to be mad, but as a hometown, as being biased, I would love to have 2.
I mean, you guys are doing a hell of a sales pitch on me for 2 weekends, but I loved the doubleheader. I thought it was great. I thought it made Pocono more special, just for everyone in general. I thought it was great. Even last year, I thought, we had weather last year where it rained for a good portion of the Saturday, and that ended up pushing the truck, Xfinity, and Cup races all to Sunday, and we got 1 Cup race in on Saturday. So, we did have the perfect storm weekend where we had no storms, and I don't think it could get any better, but I would also like to see them try it at least once again next year. I would rather a doubleheader than one of the races gets cut, and that seems to be happening to a lot of tracks right now.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Whitey. That is a great point. Yeah.
We've lost some ovals to some road courses, and I would hate to see that happen to Pocono. And I honestly think if the doubleheader saves Pocono's second date, I say we go with it. But I agree. I do love having 2 weekends, and that's just me being selfish. But big picture, I think we should keep the doubleheader if we don't go back to 2 weekends. If we could go back to 2 weekends, yeah, bring it on. I love it. I'm going to go to both,
That's kind of all of us. Like, I think, like, hey, if you're going to go 2 weekends, we're going to go 2 weekends.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Doubleheader, they put on a hell of a double.
Oh, yeah. But you want to, at the same time, I don't want to see any other track do a doubleheader. I want it to be Pocono's special thing. I want that to be the draw.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Because I think it was a draw.
Like I said.
But
Yeah.
I think other tracks are going to mimic what Pocono did.
Yeah.
I really do. With them taking out qualifying and practice and then messing around with that to see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think Pocono, see how a doubleheader goes. I think other tracks like Atlanta has 2. Like some of these other races that have 2.
That could be interesting.
Just do a doubleheader, you know?
Yeah. I know we are getting back to practice and qualifying. And even last year, the doubleheader was scheduled with practice and qualifying. They were going to be on track at like 9 a.m. and stuff, which I don't think, I think that's just a little too much. So maybe like practice and qualifying race 1 and then do the invert for race 2. But yeah, it would be interesting to see other tracks do it and see how they handled it. But selfishly, I want it to be Pocono's special thing, because I think that's neat for us as local fans. I think it's neat for just the tri-state area that they could come up and see 5 races in a weekend and you really get your money's worth on your ticket, because ticket prices haven't changed. You're paying the same thing for 1 weekend as you would for 2. And you're getting twice as much. So
you know what? I saw that on Twitter. A bunch of people were saying that, like, you know, Pocono, the show that they put on, and like one of the big thing was like, hey, they had a reasonable ticket for for 5 races. Like, I paid $100 for my camping pass. I split it with my girlfriend. So for $100, I was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I saw 5 races. I had pit passes. I had 3 infield concerts. You know what I mean? I was able to go out onto the racetrack, go down pit road on my bike. Like, for all of that to get close for $100, like, Pocono really did it right. They nailed it as far as like the fans and getting them immersed in, and people saying that, like, you know, Pocono, they always do it right. And, you know, as far as with 2021 and, you know, the way that, you know, the world is these days, like, one of the main things was, hey, there were so many different peoples of color, people flying the LGBTQ flag, and they're all shoulder to shoulder in the grandstands getting along. And, like, a lot of Twitter said that was refreshing to see from the Poconos and coming into there. And, like, it was just, it was very, and that goes to where NASCAR is going into the future. I just think Pocono is on the up and up, and there's no more boring. And I think Poconos is going to be one of the main attractions in NASCAR for years to come.
You know what I noticed too, and I don't care if this is a controversial conversation or what. We don't have to have a conversation. I'm just going to say it and we'll move on. I didn't see one goddamn Confederate flag flying up there too.
Like, no one even to attempt.
And that was so nice to see. And I'll just say that.
I was on top of Luke's van, and it was the Saturday race. I looked around, and I still looked right at Luke. I said, you know what, Luke? I said, you look around here. I said, NASCAR did a phenomenal job, and the fans responded in a phenomenal way. Not one flag that I see flying, and that is amazing. And that just goes to show that these fans care, and we are not the stereotype that a lot of people want to portray us as being, you know? So, like, it's on us, the younger generation, the younger fans, to really push the sport forward. And that's what we hear. That's what the 3 of us want to do. We always want to grow the sport. We always want to push the sport forward. And I think we saw a lot of that this weekend at Pocono, and the social media aspect, they noticed as well.
Absolutely. And just because I like to follow NASCAR Twitter, and I follow a lot of people. Just if I see them talking about Pocono, I'll follow them just to be like, hey, we're up here too, you know? And just a great response from all the people that were down there. And when you talk about value for your money, like you said, me and Matt, we split our camping ticket, so it cost us $100 each. I went on Groupon. Now, I didn't get to pick my specific seat, but I got 2 200 level tickets, adult tickets, 2 free kids tickets. Now, I didn't have any kids with me, but that's 4 tickets total for, I think it was $130. Normal
you
face
left your kids in the infield.
I left
Eric.
I left the kids in the infield. But that's the thing. They were originally $80 a piece. I got those for, $40 off. And you can't beat that value. You know, you look for deals. You can find them on NASCAR tickets, especially I was looking for 200 level tickets on StubHub and they were like $105 each, you know? So like, I mean, the value, Pocono gives you such a great value. It's such a family oriented track. They have the dog park in the center, so you could bring your dogs down. They could play, you know, they have tons of stuff. They have a kid area to hang out in and stuff.
They have yeah.
Like
we were probably
a little too close to.
Close to.
I apologize to any families that might have heard profanities throughout the day from our campsite. We were about 3 rows over, so I'm sorry. It happens.
If you're bringing your kid to a NASCAR event, you know they've heard a couple.
Yeah. But that's what it's all about. It's all about that family interaction, family atmosphere, and I think Pocono does it better than anyone else.
My dad brought me to NASCAR races to the infield when I was a little kid, and I turned out just fine. Well, maybe not.
All right. So the choose cone is back out, and I got a question for you guys. So we are heading into Road America, the 4th road course race so far this season. We have 3 more road courses coming up: Watkins Glen, Indy Road, and the Charlotte Roval. Do you think we've oversaturated the schedule with road courses, or do you think we're at a good number? Are you looking forward to these next 4 road courses coming up within the next 7 weeks or so?
Eric, do you want? I have an opinion, but Eric, go ahead.
Right. So, in the beginning of the season, I love the change with the road courses and all of that.
Yeah.
The drivers make the road courses better because the level across the whole field has gone up drastically over the last few years, and that makes the racing better. 4 in the last 7. Right before the playoffs maybe bothers me a little bit, but
I'm sorry, I messed that up. It's 3 in the last 7, and then there's 1 in the playoffs, but still, yeah, 3 in the next 7 races.
I don't mind it. I don't mind road courses. I think this is once again, I think NASCAR is trying something here.
Yeah.
I think put them in the schedule. They're going to see how fans respond to it, and then they're going to go from there. And as of now, road courses have been a hit.
They have been good races.
For me, at least. Like I said earlier in the season, I was down on super speedways and I was up on road courses.
Yeah.
And I still feel that way now. I really do. I think road courses, it's a little bit of that, everyone complained when the Chase first came out, like, oh, you can't have Daytona, or Talladega was a cutoff. And everyone's like, how could you have Talladega as a cutoff? That's bullshit. Like, anything could happen. And, like, that's the last chance I had. The road course, to me, is that same risk, but you have a little better chance of not fucking it up as you do at a Talladega.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like them adding these road courses, but I don't like them making up road courses, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if, like, there's any road course out there that, like, a road course. Like, I think Road America, like, that's, like, a road course. Like, like, that's all it is. There's no oval around it.
No.
And there's no, like, they made it this way.
It's an actual, it's like Coda.
Yeah.
Right. So I like those. Like, if you're going to go to a road course,
you don't want to see the Charlotte Roval.
Yes. Don't turn Charlotte into a Roval. Don't turn. Like, that to me is gimmicky, and they were trying something with that, and it may work, it may not. Like, if you're gonna go to a road course, go to an actual road course. Don't make
like a purpose-built road course.
Yes.
So you're not interested in the Indy road course, really?
No. If they were going to another, just like it's just a road
like
course,
you'd want to see them to go to like Canadian Tire Motor Park or whatever it is up there. Yeah. I hear you.
Okay, so I personally like the number right where it's at right now. No more, no less. I've personally enjoyed the fact that we are hitting different style tracks on almost a week-to-week basis, where it's not a stretch of, Jesus Christ, we're at our 6th straight 1.5 mile track.
Yeah.
For so long, I can rattle off before the season even started, race by race by race, the entire schedule, all 36 races, and it got stagnant. And then what happened was the NASCAR fans said, let's shake it up. Let's shake it up a little bit. Let's shake it up a little bit. NASCAR listens to their fans, and they shook it up.
Yeah.
Well, now we can't complain because they did what we asked them to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm also a wait and see kind of guy too. Let's wait and see how this whole season progresses before we actually make a judgment. I think the racing's been good. So I think what I'm trying to say is, whether it's on an oval or road course, or whether they're racing in outer space, if the racing is good, what does it matter?
That's true.
If they're turning right or left. If
Yeah.
the racing's good, then the racing's good. So embrace it. Again, we had lengthy discussions. Our buddy Shrey, God love him, I love him so much. How many times this weekend did he say he's gonna miss the hearing the 5 lugs get hit in a pit stop?
Oh yeah.
But you got to embrace it. And I told him that you got to embrace it, because no matter how much we rag on it or miss it or say we don't like it, this is the way NASCAR is going. And the same goes for these road courses. Embrace it. It's been good racing. You can't say that it hasn't. It's been really fun racing. So let's roll with it. I don't want to see any more added to the schedule. And I'm really not sure if I'm a fan of the street course. And I know that's just a different topic for a different day, but where we're at right now,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't like them making stuff for the schedule. Put them on a road course. That's a road course.
Yeah.
Right. And I can 100% agree with that. And I like where it's at right now. I like that we're not getting stagnant. I like that there's flavor in our schedule, and let's just see how it works for a year or two.
Yeah. I like it. I like that.
Personally, I think we have one too many. I don't know which one. But just looking at the schedule coming up, like personally for me, I'm not a huge road course racing fan, although I've enjoyed all the road courses. So maybe this weekend at Road America, I'll be impressed again. And I'll be like, yeah, love it. But right now we're looking at Road America, which I don't know. We don't know how it's going to be. Cup's never been there before. Atlanta Motor Speedway. Not really looking forward to going to Atlanta again. I know the summertime, it might make it slick and hot.
The heat.
So that's got me excited for it. But then we go to New Hampshire, which doesn't put on the greatest racing. Although I think if Kevin Harvick has a chance to win anywhere, it's probably going to be in New Hampshire. Watkins Glen, which I do love Watkins Glen. I think I might try to go up there for that Sunday. But then we go to the Indy Road Course right after Watkins Glen. And then we ended at Michigan and then Daytona. I wish they would have moved Michigan in between Watkins Glen and the Indy Road Course, or just run the Indy Oval. Although the Indy Oval hasn't been putting on great racing in a long time anyway. So,
well, that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
And you just said, like, Atlanta, you're not really looking forward to Atlanta. So if you're not looking forward to Atlanta, but you're not looking forward to the road courses, then what do you want? You know what I mean? You got to have different.
I want Talladega in the middle of the summer.
So do I. So do I. Because I mean, if you gave me 36 super speedway races, I'd probably be okay with that too. But like I said before, you need that spice, you need that flavor into the season, and just keep an open mind and embrace it.
Yeah.
The racing's been fun.
Honestly, I think what it is I want to see Daytona on the 4th of July. I think it's a good super speedway to break up the middle of the season, but at the same time, I love it as the playoff or as the cutoff race of the regular season. Like, I thought that gave us such great racing. People were really laying it on the line.
It's going to again this year. It's going to give us that fun racing to end the regular season
I think,
too.
I think personally, I'm just a little torn where I'm like, I wish I could see. I like 1.5 mile races. I wish I could see Chicagoland in place of the Indy Road Course or something.
I agree with you though, Matt. Though, like, if you don't like Atlanta, if Charlotte put on a shit show, like. You did bring up a good point. Like, okay, like they sucked. Like, so why not try something new as not traditional, but hey, if it's good racing, if it's better than watching them, run in Atlanta,
that's true.
I'm willing to take it. So I did like that point, Matt.
I guess it's true. And you want to know what? I gotta be open-minded this week to Road America. I think I don't know, after the fuel mileage race in Pocono being so good, I think I'm just coming off of a high this weekend where I'm like, well, I don't know if this week's going to be great.
Do you think they threw, and this is the first time I actually even thought about this, and maybe it's because I'm not firing on all 8 cylinders after the weekend that we just had, but do you think they picked Road America for the 4th of July on purpose? It never even clicked until right now.
Possibly.
Wasn't Daytona always the Firecracker 400?
Well, yeah.
And it was
but
just because it's Road America and the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Well, last year they ran it at Indy. Right? It was Indy at the 4th of July. So I mean,
actually, I don't know what it was last year, just because of the pandemic. I guess it was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be. Indy.
I don't remember.
I think that one still stayed the same. I mean, we'll see. Yeah. We'll see what kind of video package NBC does for Road America and the 4th of July. I'm sure it'll be super patriotic.
How could you get any more American than having Dale Jr. call that race too?
Slide job. It's coming around the corner. It's coming through the grass. All right. Speaking of,
he's got a flat tire.
He's got flat tires going down. Hit the wall. Speaking of Road America, do you want to get into next week's preview? We are running out of time.
Let's do this. I'm exhausted.
The Xfinity Series will run Road America on Saturday, 2:30 on the mothership of NBC Network TV for the Henry's 180, and then Cup will spend the 4th of July at Road America for the Jockey Made in America 250, presented by Quick Trip. 2:30 on NBC. So we got some NBC proper channels. We're not tuning into NBCSN. I always say that wrong. NBCSN, NBC Sports Network, or whatever. I don't know.
It is NBCSN. You're okay.
No, NBCSN is the news one, isn't it?
No,
right? No. What's the news one?
CNBC.
CNBC. I was saying CNBC last week. I don't know. It's been a long weekend. I'm a little delirious too.
Bunch of wet noodles up here. Bunch of wet noodles up here.
Noodle. We've been holding it together pretty well for the last hour and 30 minutes, but yeah, it's starting to come off the rails. We got no top 10 from Bob Hawkers' math because we will have practice and qualifying. Practice is Saturday at 12:35. And then qualifying, I really like the Sunday morning qualifying. That's going to be at 11:05. You wake up in the morning, you have your cup of coffee, you watch qualifying, and then you have a cup race coming up later on. And we got some picks to go into. But Matt, first, do you want to give the stats? Now, Cup Series never ran at Road America before. I asked you before the show to maybe take a look at the Xfinity Series races, see what Cup regulars have run there in the past. Of course, you really can't compare Xfinity to Cup, but I mean, it'll give us a nice little baseline. People maybe we should be watching during practice and qualifying on Saturday and Sunday.
Yes, sir. So a couple surprising names here. So Austin Cindric, like I said before, I was going to bring him up.
I think he's running Cup this week, right?
He's running the Cup race this week. He won last year. Okay. I've got more on Austin Cindric in a little bit. And I just might have forget that I just said that. Both of you forget that I just said anything about Austin Cindric.
I don't know what you're talking about.
God damn it.
So Christopher Bell.
Christopher Bell won in 2019 in the Xfinity Series, obviously. He'll be racing in this race. Michael McDowell won in 2016 at Road America.
Okay.
And then, hey, the Dinger is running this race. AJ Allmendinger is running this race. He won back in 2013, and he is known to be a road course ace. So just a little baseline, like Whitey said, to go off of. And I think we could just go ahead and jump into our picks.
All right. So last week, because we had 2 Cup races, what we did, we took the points of each, combined them, and then we'll go with that. So Eric, you picked Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch won on Sunday, but he wasn't the top points getter. He got you 44 points. Denny got you 43 points on Saturday for a total of 87 points. You will be going last because you were the points leader this past weekend.
I'll take it because it bumped me up in the overalls, baby. Let's go.
Matt, you picked William Byron on Saturday. Now, he did not win the race, but he was the biggest points getter in fantasy. He got you 50 points, a lot of stage points for old Willie B. And you picked Denny to win on Sunday. Of course, he had to make a last-second pit stop to make sure he could finish the race. He got you 32 points. And that got you a total of 82 points. A very close points battle this week. I picked Kevin Harvick. He got me a whopping 35 points on Saturday. And I picked Kyle Larson to come alive on Sunday. Should have picked him for Saturday instead of Sunday. But he got me 38 points. He still had a top 5, I believe, on Sunday. for a total of 73 points. So I will be picking first. I know the last couple weeks I've been drawn out and indecisive, but after seeing Kyle Busch's performance this past week, knowing we have practice and qualifying, knowing he is a great road course racer, I got to go with the Candyman, Mr. Rowdy Busch, to pull it off in Road America.
Okay. Am I up?
Yep, Matt, you're up with your second place pick. I think I have an idea who you're going to pick there.
I thought one of you guys were gonna steal it because I knew I wasn't going first.
I thought about it, but I didn't want to be a dick.
I'm taking a swing, man. He really impressed me at COTA in the Cup Series race.
He ran really well at COTA for a while.
He did, and he knows his way around Road America, man. I'm doing it. I'm taking Austin Cindric.
That's a dark horse pick, but you know what? I don't think it's a terrible one.
And Matt, you know what? Like, if you didn't take it, like his run at COTA was just on those slicks to stay out as long as he did was absolutely phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
And you put him in a Cup car, you can't. It doesn't matter at that point. He will run up front in that race. But
for the longest time, he only won at road courses in the Xfinity Series. It took him a long time to win at an oval. People thought he was just a road course guy, but of course he's shown he could win anywhere.
I'm gonna go off of Matt's stats here, and I'm gonna go with one of my I should say my second favorite driver behind Eric Jones. It's not the 240.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's not the 240 yet, boys. It's the 2-0. I'm gonna go with Christopher Bell. He has experience here. He's ran here. I'm going with my old fucking number one faithful, the 20 car, and Christopher Bell this weekend.
All right, so we got two Gibbs drivers and a Penske driver. We'll see what happens in Road America. The playoff picture, we thought maybe we could get 16 different winners. It's still possible, but looking less likely. We are 19 races in. We have 11 different winners. Of course, Michael McDowell was your Daytona 500 winner. Christopher Bell won at a road course already this year, so Eric's pick looking good. He won at Daytona road course. William Byron's got a win. Kyle Larson has 4 wins on the season. Martin Truex Jr. has 3 wins. Ryan Blaney with 1. Logano Bowman 3 wins, including a win this past weekend at Pocono. Brad Keselowski has a win. Kyle Busch got his 2nd win over the weekend at Pocono. And of course, Chase Elliott won at COTA. Who will it be? July 4th, Road America for the Jockey Made in America 250 presented by Quick Trip 230 on NBC. Will it be Kyle Busch? Will he go back-to-back 2 weeks in a row? Will Austin Cindric, the dark horse, come from out of the Xfinity Series and put a whooping on all those Cup Series regulars? Or will Christopher Bell get his 2nd road course win of the season and prove why he's in that 20 car? We will find out this July 4th at 2:30 on NBC.
USA.
USA. USA.
USA. USA. USA.
We will find out 4th of July weekend, Sunday, 4th of July, Road America, 2:30 on NBC. And you know, we'll break it all down right here on the Bump and Run podcast. Might be another Tuesday show with a long weekend. I'll let you know on Twitter. For Matt the Statman Reilly, for Daytona Ron, I'm Michael D. White saying have a good night.
Bump and dump and run.